So I want to introduce our fabulous abstract powders. These are a microfine powder packed with pigment and colour. They create so much vibrancy on your artwork. You can paint, you can spritz, you can do all the fabulous things that you can do at home. Background washes, painting techniques, wetting wet, thirsty brush. You can just bring your artwork to life with these fabulous abstract powders. Once it's dry, you can then mount it onto some cardstock and you can create a beautiful finished project. Good afternoon everyone, how are you all? I have been sat for the last 4 or 5 minutes watching all your lovely comments, talking to each other. It's lovely to see that you all come on to the live studio and have a little catch up before we actually go live. And it's lovely that you're all even probably don't even meet or know these people in person, that they are friends, and it's a great community for you to come and have a chat with people who you've never met, but you have so much in common, so it's brilliant. So I thoroughly enjoyed myself for the last 4 or 5 minutes. If it's the first time you're tuning into studio, welcome everybody. It's a Stamps by Me studio and my name is Toni and I'm a guest presenter over on Create and Craft. So today's studio was just a quick choice just to jump on today, just to tell you a few things, and also an extra studio as well, which is absolutely fabulous. So by the end of the week, you will be literally eating Toni Darroch. You are going to see more of me every single day. So how cool is that? How many of you are at home? Are you self-isolated? Are you looking after yourselves? If you are, you're not going to be on your own. Stamps by Me are going to be doing it with you. We are fit and well, we have no problems, and while ever the circumstances stay that way, we will be here in the studio for you guys at home. So I will be seeing you again tomorrow at 3 o'clock with some more fantastic stuff. One thing I do want to tell you about today is something super exciting. Now, given the circumstances and everything that's happening, I appreciate a lot of you are not wanting to go out, and that's absolutely fine. Safety and family always come first. If you are out and about still like us, brilliant, but I appreciate probably most of you are not. We had a plan for summer in June or July to launch a craft academy. And basically what that means is it's a journey where you will be able to purchase a stamp and follow me in the studio free and craft along with me. So basically free tuition, free videos, always available for you. And that was meant to be launching in the summer months. Given the circumstances, what we've done is we've brought the academy forward. I know a lot of you are going to be at home, twitchy fingers, thinking, oh, it's scary times. So to take your mind off it, we've brought it forward, and we are going to be launching it on Monday, the 6th of April. Okay, make a note in your diaries. It's a super cool thing that we've put together for you. Obviously, it wasn't planned until the summer months. And we've had to, you know, ask for a few favours to pull it all forward for you. So we will be launching it on the 6th, Monday the 6th of April, and basically it's 12 weeks of free live tutorials covering a range of crafts. So I'm going to teach you all the things that you love, i.e. colouring, background techniques, washes, traditional watercolouring with a brush and having the confidence to pick it up, and things like that over a 12-week programme, and that's going to be supported by 12 releases of new stamps. Okay, I'm not going to be saying much more about it because I do want to get to the lovely demonstrations that I've got going on in today's studio, and I know that's why a lot of you have come. So I can see all the lovely comments, and from what I can see, you're all absolutely over the moon with what I've just told you. We are here to support you, and every little helps, whether that be just one tutorial, 2 tutorials, or even a chat. Okay, it's going to be a tough few weeks, not only for us, for you probably at home as well, and I appreciate some of you are at home on your own. So make a note in your diary, Monday the 6th of April, and I am in studio tomorrow, and I will talk about it a little bit more tomorrow, and every time I'm back in studio I will give you a little bit more information. But it's going to be a fantastic programme where you can educate yourselves. So while we've got this crafty time, this crafty space, you'll be able to sit down and take your mind off what's going on outside. Okay, so yay, it is amazing. I can see all the lovely comments, and I will be if I see any of the comments or any questions about it or anything you want to know, just send them. I can see them, but if I am demoing I might miss them. So thank you so much if you tuned into yesterday's studio. Fingers crossed you are receiving me loud and clear and there are no jumping issues or music issues or anything like that. So let's have a lovely half an hour, 3/4 of an hour. Grab a cup of tea if you haven't already got one, because we're going to revisit some of our earlier products, because you've probably already got them. I'm going to show you some fantastic ways to get some lovely watercolour finishes with a cheat, really. So if it's okay with you guys, I'm just going to sit down because I just find it easier if I colour whilst I'm sitting down. So hi Tracy, hi Alicia, hi Kay, and it's lovely to see the regular faces too. Thank you so much for tuning in all the time. I do feel like I've got true friends when you all come and watch all the time. It's just amazing. I don't do much these days other than craft and work, so it's lovely to see some lovely friendly faces, or names should we say. So what I'm going to do today in studio is I've got two of our earlier stencils. So you might have these ones at home. If you haven't, obviously please don't worry about it. You might have some in your stash that you'll be able to get the inspiration from and your own, be able to get it out and do your own thing with them. You don't have to have these products. All of the products I am using are available over on our website, so all you need to do is pop FBL into the search engine and you can purchase all of the lovely things there. But please don't switch off if you don't have the products, because honestly you can take the inspiration away with you and have a good route in your craft room and see what's going on. Big thank you for keeping us sane. You're welcome, Elizabeth, anytime. We are here for you. It is a tough time, but I'm sure as a crafting community we will get through this. We always do. So let's play. So I have here some watercolour card. So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you that you can create two watercolour finishes in two different ways. So one of the ways you might find the easiest way, if it's a technique where you're thinking there is absolutely no chance I can do that one, then I'm going to show you with the second stencil that you can do it as well, but with a cheat. So you'll be able to try both at home. If you've got the confidence to do it the natural way, you can. But if you don't want to and you want to use the cheat way, you can do that too. So let's go with this one first, okay? So I'll just set this one aside. So I've just got some of our lovely Carter watercolour card here. I just find this easier to use. It gives me a bit of movability with the ink on there. So the one that I'm going to show you now is the traditional watercolour way, okay? So I'm just going to pop my stencil on here. Now I am mindful, I am going to make it into a card, and it's going to be a card for a friend because I've got a stamp set that's got a lovely word on called friend. So let me just think about which way I want my flower to go. So you can have it this way if you want to, or you can turn it over and have it this way. It's dependent on you. Now I like my flowers to go right, crazy, hey? So I'm going to just pop that down there like so, and I'm just going to grab some tape and I'm just going to hold it in place on my card. So with these stencils then, when I did watercolour these ones, I did actually put the splashes on there too. So on the stencils you have got the little dots that give you the splash appearance as well. So I don't know if you can see them, but they are just here. It's a little bit difficult to see white on white. I'm just going to take a long piece of this tape here and just cover this base so I don't get a line of ink over and above onto my lovely card. And I am going to do the same at top. Basically, I'm just going to mask it off like so. Right, so first off I'm going to show you how you can maybe understand a little bit of watercolouring and painting. So if you can see in front of me here, I've got my Generation inks. So you can see here, the colours are on the sides there. And basically, our Generation inks were designed to go with your stencils originally. But but they've been used for stamping and everything. But originally they were made so that you could get realistic watercolour finishes with your stencils. So I'm just going to show you, let's just get rid of all of these re-inkers on here, look. So these ink pads are a water-based ink, but the fantastic thing about them is when they're dry, they're permanent. So you can't reactivate them. So if you want to layer build, do a scene, you're never going to activate that colour underneath. Once they're dry, they're permanent. And that's really unique with a dye-based ink. Okay, so let's go ahead. In this set, this is set 3 I'm using. A lot of you have got these, but you don't have to use my ink pads. Use ink pads that you've got at home, okay, if you have some at home that are going to work. So basically, I am going to use this brown suede 03 here from this set. And basically, this is like a tan, very pale tan colour. And what this is going to do is I'm going to pop it on my stencil here, and it's just going to give me an imprint on here. It's going to cast a shadow, so then I can actually go in and add the colour. So all I'm doing is I'm taking the ink pad straight to the stencil, very, very lightly, and I'm just going to push through that stencil. So my ink pad is absolutely flat. So for this technique, just remember you need a very, very light ink pad, and this collection was designed for this very technique. So I'm just stenciling through the stencil with the ink pad direct, so it'll give me an imprint onto that watercolour card. There we go, I think we've got enough on there. And then I'm just going to remove the stencil. Just get rid of that rubbish. Like so, and then when you move it, it will have a little, can we see the suggestion here? You can only just see it, which is perfect, and this is exactly what we need. Okay, so when you bring your stencil across here, can we see that there? I hope you can see it. It's very difficult for me to see these things with the light, but I hope you can see what I've tried to achieve there. There we go. That's it. Now, if you are wanting every single bit of detail, you can absolutely press on harder if you want to. I just wanted the suggestion, because I'm just going to show you how I'm going to paint some detail on here, so it looks like we have our own lovely, so it basically looks like I've painted it. I'm not cheated in any way, I promise. So as I said to you, this ink is permanent once dry. So let's try it. And it will always stay there and help and guide me for the colours that I'm going to pop on top. What I suggest you do at home is do exactly what I'm doing here, is pop the stencil to the left. So even though I've not got a lot of detail on there, I can still see from my original watercolour piece here where the lines are going to be, the suggestion and things like that. The great thing about this is no two pieces are ever going to be the same. So my Generation inks also come with the lovely re-inkers here, so you get your coordinating colours. Now you can paint with these, green, the brown suede, the purple. We always do all of our products with re-inkers for longevity. I hate the fact that you have to throw a stamp or something, sorry, not a stamp, a ink pad away just because you've run out of colour and there's no way of hydrating it. So I don't want to live in a throwaway society. I want to be able to keep my things forever. So what I'm going to do is, let's grab this here, just use it for my palette. So you could use your wells in your Eureka. Here you can see here the wells in Eureka, but for speed I'm just going to use this little palette here. So I've just got some clean clear water. I'll bring it all in shot so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So everything I'm using is available on the website. The brushes, we have sets of brushes, we have round brushes, fill bare brushes, we have the water pot, the inks, everything. But like I say, if you've got them at home and it's working, you know, stick with them. You'll still be able to do what I'm doing today. So I'm going to go with purple. I'm just going to pop a little bit of purple onto my palette there. Now, a little goes a long, long way. Just remember that. Don't put loads on your palette, because you're probably going to be left with loads. So I always go small, and if we need more, we can add more. So first of all, let's get this green detail popped in here. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this green, And all I'm going to do is I'm going to colour over the areas where that ink has gone through there. So I'm not being clever in any way. I'm literally just colouring in what I imprinted through with that ink pad. Okay, like so. So I'm just going to pick up some of the other green, and I'm just going to do this lovely leaf here. Like so. In your set, you also get the brown suede, which is the colour that we put through. So I am going to utilise the other colours that are in my set too. I'm going to mix it up. So if you wanted to make these a little bit darker, make it look like you are a little bit arty, you just pick some of the solid green up without diluted, and you just drop that solid green in. And this is going to create dimension, like light and shade. Can we see how we've got a little shadow going on there? So this card is honestly going to look like you have just taken your, sorry about the shake. I still get nervous, unfortunately. It is going to look like you have literally painted it freehand, okay? So let's just bring this to a point here. That was me and a shake. I got a nasty edge on there. So leaves aren't always one colour, so I'm going to pick up some of this nice brown suede, which is quite an ugly colour, but it works for so many effects. And I'm just going to drop a little bit of that into, just down one edge, just to give a little bit of contrast. So I've got two leaves going on there, pretty basic, but let's continue on. So I'm going to follow the rest of the leaves here with the green. And I'm using my stencil as a reference. See that there? And then we've got like a little leaf here, which is going to connect to that lovely flower there. So all I'm doing is I'm looking here on the left at where the leaves are. And there's one there, look. So that's all of the green leaves. I'm just going to add a little bit of dark green in there so it does look like I have added a little bit of light and shade. Just dropping that into the water. Like so. And it always dries differently as well. So if you are a bit of a control freak when it comes to your crafting, maybe watercolouring is not the way to go. But it is such a relaxing craft that I think if you just give it a go for a little while, you would really enjoy it. And I know a lot of you are now watercolouring when you never picked up a brush before. Sue, of course, yep, we will be doing all of these classes to keep you all sane. It will also keep me sane too. So we are here tomorrow. The plan is that we're going to be here every day. Now, unfortunately, I do have commitments with TV, as you're all aware as well. But if I'm not on TV, I will be here. So, and we always send a newsletter, so please watch out for the newsletters too. But we are going to try our best to be in studio every single day for you all. I know you love watercolouring, Amanda, because you're fantastic at it. Right, so I can see here where I've popped that colour through, that I have my connecting elements here, which is going to connect all the leaves. So I'm just bringing that down, bringing it all together. So now you can see how we've got the lovely leaves on there. And if I've missed a little bit here, can you see how it's not connected? I am gonna connect it. There we go. I don't know how I've got that splodge there, but it'll be fine. So that's all our green elements. So you can see already that looks like I've just taken a brush to the paper. You would never know that that colour is underneath. So this is a great cheap way, guys. Honestly, it's fabulous. So on my palette, I've got the lovely purple, and I'm also going to pop some of the lovely pink as well to give our flowers some lovely contrast. So I'm going to pick up some of the lovely pink. I'm going to dilute it back quite a bit though, because it is super, super bright. As you can see there, it is bright. So add quite a bit of water. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to add in the colour onto these flowers. So I can see here we've got a flower here. So I'm just going to go around. And I'm just going to spot that colour in. Now I like to leave little white spaces because I think white spaces are key and they give a realistic finish to your flower. So, but you can colour it in solid, enjoy the process and then grow from there, okay? So here I'm just picking up some of the purple, just diluting this down too. And all I'm going to do with the purple is I'm going to spot it in the centre and then around. I'm not going to colour it all, just to give my flower some contrast. You see that there? So let's get all these flowers filled in. So back to the pink. So just following that detail. And then spot in areas, leave some white if you want to. Pick up some purple. So you see how they look completely different, and it is good to have them different because when you come to add your detail in the centre, they will all look different. When you spot a bit of black in the centre, it will all come together. I'm just reading some of the comments. So as always, we started it yesterday. We are going to be giving our cards away again in studio. So I did pop it on yesterday for you all. To pop a comment on Facebook after the show, and a lot of you have popped on, and I will pick a winner as soon as I get an opportunity. There will be 2 winners because I think I did 2 cards yesterday, albeit I have slept since then. So just spotting some of that purple in there. You see that there? So let's just go and fill in the rest of these flowers. So I'm going to go ahead and just get the rest of these flowers in here. Pick up some purple. Maybe just pop a bit of purple in the centre of this one so it looks different to the rest. Let it do its thing. And then on this one, you can see that we've got a little bit of filler in there. So you can be honestly as random as you want and have the courage maybe to add some more. I'm following the stencil absolutely per se for your benefit at home, but if I was on my own I would probably add more. So there's a little bud here, which I can just see here on my stencil, a little bud there, and I can see a little bud up here too. Just pick up some of this green and get my flower connected because it actually does go right up there. So you can see how it's coming together there, can't you? So let's just connect this one because it's floating and my ink hasn't gone through the stencil. So don't have floating leaves, make sure they are all connected. So we can see that that's coming together lovely. Now I do need some black for the centres of these flowers. I'm just going to use a bit of black out of my palette here. But once it's dry, you could pop some spots of yellow, like blossom and things like that. So I'm just going to get a little bit of black, try and make it thick. And I'll just spot a bit of black in the centre here, not too much. Oops, she says not too much. And so if you put colour on and you don't like it, dry your brush, take all of the ink out of your brush, pop it back on your paper and drink that ink back up. You see that there? Taken some of that black out there, so I'll clean my brush and drink that ink back out. And I'm just going to let it do its thing. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to just pick up some of the colour. I'm going to dilute it down and I'm just going to add some splats on there. Bring it all together. I'm also going to use a little bit of the lovely pink too. Now we'll just get some of that black and try again with that flower there, because it did go horribly wrong when I popped it in. There we go. So let's just dry this one off. So whilst I'm drying this off, I'll see. Well, Marilyn, I went shopping this morning and the only thing I couldn't get was milk. So, but hopefully they'll have some in this afternoon. So, but everything else was there, thankfully. So, Elizabeth, the brush that I'm using is a size 4 brush. The size 4 is what we put in your Eureka if you do have a Eureka. It is the most commonly used watercolour brush. You can do detail like this, but they also come in the Himi collection of watercolour brushes that are on our website as well. And you get a variation of sizes as well, sweetheart. So I think you get something like a 2, a 4, a 6, something like that. So I'll just hold this up and just show you. Does that look like you've used a stencil? Would you know that you've used a stencil? I don't think so. How cool is that? So let's get this finished as if you were going to give it to a friend. I do give all the cards away, so I do like to complete them. I am going to stand up now. I've finished colouring though. So let's just tidy the station. So for this card, I'm going to use the lovely Friend stamp set. Now, this is one of our earlier stamps. A lot of you, I'll just get my piece of card back in for it. A lot of you will have this one, but basically it's got the large friend and then you've got all the little elements that you can add on to it as well. And they're great for the watercolour pieces, and this is my go-to. There's various words as friend, believe, and I use them quite a lot. So I'm just going to stamp friend through this image and it's going to give me a lovely arty feel. So don't forget as well to maybe get out your white gel pens and add highlights onto your work and things like that. It's all experimenting. I don't expect you all to all of a sudden start picking up that brush and thinking you're amazing, because I still don't do that now. But it's just having the confidence to pick that brush up and at least try, and that's the starting point really. So what a great one. I am a phone call away, given the circumstances and we're all at home. So friend, I'm a phone call away. Let's push this down and let's go for you're a true friend. Let's go for that one. But there's so many in here. You've got you're a true friend, take it easy my friend, grateful for you, it's been a long time, what would I do without you, I couldn't wish for a better friend, friend for real, special friend forever, girlfriend, boyfriend, hello friend, best friend. There's lots on there, so check them out if you like them. So all I'm going to do is you're a true, and then we'll put friend above just to chop it up a little bit, make sure it's straight. And we will just go for black. so it'll be a nice crisp image. Quite big, this friend as well. This is a 5x7 piece, so you can see how big this friend is. There's actually there is actually a die set as well that cuts the friend. So if you're not wanting the stamp and you like a die element, there is a die available too. But there's lots of words out there now, so maybe use what you've got in your stash. So I'm just going to give that a good old push down. It is watercolour card, so I'm just going to make sure I get all that detail. I might have to stamp it twice. Yes, let's stamp it twice. Now I don't need to really stamp "You're a True" because it's stamped, so I'm going to concentrate on the friend. Sue saying thank you, Tim, for your help. So let's blast this off with my gun, because it's inevitable you'll end up with a fingerprint. So you could pop some gems around here if you wanted to, you know, spruce it up a little bit. But I always say that if you wanted it to be more like you've just taken a brush and painted that flower, I wouldn't put anything else on it. Because when you look at watercolour cards and hand-painted watercolour cards, they don't embellish with anything, do they? So for people to think it is a watercolour card, I would personally leave it be. But it's personal preference. If you like jewels and gems and things like that, go for it. So let's put this onto our card here. And then we'll do the second one. And the second one is way, way easier. But again, you get a lovely, realistic watercolour finish without having to, you know, freehand paint, which is absolutely fab. So I'm just using my glue here. So these are all old products that we're using here at Stamps by Me. Please check out your stash. I know a lot of you, you know, you buy week in, week out, so you might have them. So have a good old route while you've got the time. So make sure you don't get any spillage of glue on there. Just get rid of that piece of glue there. So I'll just give that a chance to grab. I always say, don't use a lot of glue. And what do? I use lots of glue. Practice what you preach, Toni. So I'll just give it a second to grab. I'm trying my best to avoid the words because it's inevitable you will end up with a fingerprint with me. It's a nightmare. Oh my gosh. So after studio, I'll post these ones as well, so don't forget to pop a comment. Right, so what I'm going to do, while it's drying, I'm just going to pop it under my Eureka, so it's nice and flat when we pull it out at the end, like so. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit down and I'm going to move on to my second demonstration. But before I do that, we have some inspiration for you, which is one of the videos that I've done in future videos. We will be having lots more videos edited, so you've got fresh inspiration every single time. But for now, while I just get ready for my next one, here's some more inspiration. I'm really excited to tell you all about our fabulous Gossip range. On this one, I wanted to show you our Gossip pens. Now these come in a box of three colours that coordinate together and 3 colours that will work fabulously on your artwork. And within we have high grade ink, and within there you have glitter. They have the nylon tip on there, which is a precision point. I am so excited about these. When you come to paint with them, you will truly see how amazing they are. The great thing about Gossip is diluted down, you still get a great finish. Welcome back everybody, I was just getting organised there for you. So I have this stencil this time. So can we see this? I don't know if you can see it. Oh, probably not the best idea to put white behind, but you get the idea. So this is a different composition. This is also a watercolour image that I did freehand, so they are detailed. And when we launched our Lamination Plush stencils, it really did enable you at home to be more of an artist. Super, super proud of these. These have been out on the market now for about 2 years. There are going to be some more. But do you know what it's like when we launch stuff time and time again? Things get lost, but I absolutely love revisiting earlier products, you know, because it feels like they're new again, doesn't it? So again, I have some watercolour card and we're using a different stencil this time. And I'm just going to lay it on to the watercolour card, and again, for safety, I'm going to tape it down. So with this one, before we went through with a light coloured ink pad and followed the lines, didn't we? Whereas with this one, we're not going to do that. We're going to use coloured ink pads to get dimension on there. So if you're not wanting to do freehand painting, that's okay. You may like this alternative, which again gives a lovely realistic finish, like so. Now this stencil particularly, and I picked this one as well because this is one of the tougher ones to use. The detail is absolutely immense. Can we see that detail up here? So you need to be super, super careful when you're using your stencil brushes or whatever you have in your stash at home and you're stenciling through. Take your time, and I always say pounds through. If you start like dragging and ragging, what will happen is you'll probably potentially tear the stencil. It's that detailed. So you just need to have some patience with it and take your time with it, but the results are really, really cool. So what I'm going to do is I'll just push this aside here, and I'm going to use the LG03, but we'll use the same colours as the last one. We're going to use fuchsia and we're going to use deep purple for this demonstration, but we're just going to use the ink pads. And then I'm going to show you how you maybe, if you want to enhance it slightly by putting pencil work on top, if you want to. So let's go with the green first. So I'm using our blending brushes here. You might have something that works in your stash at home. These are our self-cleaning brushes. Can't get my words out. Self-cleaning brushes. And I promise you they are coming soon. But if you have got them, brilliant. If you haven't, use what's in your stash. So I'm going to concentrate on these leaf areas down here. Only thing I'm not concentrating is on this head of the flower. Now if you get a bit of green in the head of this flower, don't worry about it. It's not the end of the world. It's a watercolour image, and they do naturally have a bleed when they do wet in wet. The green goes into the colour. It looks better in my opinion. So don't put yourself under pressure. So I'm just going to pick up some of this lovely green. Make sure my ink pad is wet enough. I haven't had them out for a while. That's fine. So I've got some lovely green loaded on here, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to pounce. I'm just going to pounce down really. I am using watercolour card, so it doesn't look like much ink is going through until you remove the stencil. So have some patience with it. Get that colour down. So I have a little bud here, sorry about the head. I have a little bud here, I have a little bud here, a little bud here. So I am conscious of that, albeit they have got green in already. I am conscious of those little buds if we can avoid them. And the great thing about the arch on here, can we see that there? There we go. It's got an arch on it, so this bit is the only bit really that's going through the stencil. So it looks like you've got something big and bulky in your hand, when really the stencil work is quite precise. So let's concentrate on the greens. Anywhere else? Can we see anywhere else? So I think we're good to go with the green. So I'm just going to clean my brush here. Get that green off there. And then I think what we'll do is we'll go pink. Pick some pink up. And we'll go pink in the head of the flower here. So I'm just stenciling through some lovely pink. I'm absolutely going direct in here now. Pink and orange looks cool. It's just that I haven't got my orange to hand here, or else I would have done pink and orange. I am a pink and orange girl. So I'm just going to try and get a little bit of that pink in that bud up there too. A little bit in that bud there. And one here. There's a little bud down here. So we can see it's coming together. This is going to look super, super cool, and you just need to have the courage to see it to the end. Don't look at it and think, oh my goodness me, it's going in the bin before you've even taken the mask off, because some of your best cards come from those sorts of trials, should we say. So I'm just going to clean that one off, and I am going to add some purple this time, just to, not all over, because there's no point putting the pink on underneath if we're going to add purple all over the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to brush from the base up and see if I can just create a little bit of shadow, not much. Can we see that there? And then this one here, just a little bit. So I'll just try and get it super, super dark at the base of that flower. And let's just swap it back out for some pink, bring that pink. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and bring this pink and this purple back together and get rid of that harsh line. So get that pink up there, look, and then we've eradicated that nasty purple line, which is super cool, like so. So let's leave that as is. Got a bit of glue on my stencil, there we go. So you get this beautiful finish, which looks absolutely gorgeous. So I'll just set that one aside. Move it into camera. So I'm just going to dry it off, because remember what I said about the inks, they are permanent once on. And you can see, if you look, you see how the purple and pink has actually gone into some of these leaves. But how gorgeous is it? Can you see that there? How gorgeous is that pink going into that green? So don't put yourselves under pressure that all the colour has to be like confined to that specific space. You know, let it go, and you will just thoroughly enjoy it. So you could leave that as is, we could stamp friend on there, but now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pencils and show you how you can build on top of your artwork here. So we're just going to take a lovely green and just get my scrap card here. And this is how, so if you are just starting out with stencils, maybe do this technique and leave it and grow from there. But there are so many techniques you can do with stencils. You can build on them, you can make them look more realistic, you can make them look more dimensional. They're just a super, super cool product, and super inexpensive too. So I have the green pencil here, and now all I can go on is into these leaves, and I can create more dimension myself by adding some flicks from the centres. Let's get a darker one so you can see, because that's not showing very well. Let's see if we've got a darker one in here. Thank you. This might be a bit too dark, but I want you to see. So I'm just going to press from the base of this flower up. Can you see that there? How gorgeous that is. And again, we'll just add a bit of dimension in here. Not too much. You're not trying to hide your work. Like so. So I'm just going to go around and frame some of these lovely leaves, and it's just going to allow them to pop from the page. So I'm just starting at the point of the leaf and taking my pencil from there up. I'm not covering the whole area, because that defeats the object of your stencil really, unless you're wanting it to look like you've done an underlay. And you could sit and add dimension, colour waves, you could add white on top to add some highlights. Add a bit of a shadow down the stem. And then you could add a little bit of detail if you wanted to the flowers. So let's see what this colour's like. That looks like a good one. And then just add some colour to the base. Could do with probably being a little bit darker. So you can enhance your stencil work just by simply adding a pencil over top. Now I've used these oil pastel pencils, but as long as your artwork is dry underneath, you can use your watercolour pencils on top and not add any water. Two purposes are your watercolour pencils, dry or wet. So if you have the watercolour pencils and not these, then that's fine, they will still do the same effects. It's just that these are a little bit smoother, that's all. So I'm just going to show you, if I have to hand, one more little thing that might make your artwork look a little bit more realistic. So I have a fine liner pen. Hopefully it is going to work. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to add some detail on these leaves. Now I'm going to follow the lines but never complete the leaf. It's just easier if it looks a little bit more sketchier if you don't complete the leaf. So I'm just going to go up and around, if my pen works. And down. And I know that leaf, my pen's absolutely rubbish, unfortunately. Can we see here how I've just added that little bit of detail there? It just makes it a little bit more arty. So I'm not going to do it on them all. I'm just going to highlight some of the areas. So you can actually do a line down the centre if you wanted to. And then back round here, follow the line. Can we see that there? Can we see how it's coming together? So it looks a lot more artier when you add that fine liner pen. So let's just go ahead and add some splashes, because it needs splashes, doesn't it? So I'm just going to use some of the ink that is already on my palette here. My brush is not wet enough. Good old tap down there. I'm just going to stand up again because I'm not colouring anymore. We'll just dry this one off. And this time what we'll do is we'll just use one of the little elements from the stamp set and not the whole friend. So we can just use the single parts. Yeah, I think so too, Sue. It really, really does. People be looking at it thinking, is that stencil, or have you done it, or watercoloured it? What have you done there? Tell me. Because that's the first thing I say. If I see something, I'm like, how did you do that? You know, we are all crafters, but if we can look like artists, it's a win-win for me. So let's go with just one simple word. So let's go for hello. And it's a small one. We'll just get rid of these two for now. Pop this in. So I always like my sentiments connected, as you all know. So I'm just going to pop the H right next to that leaf there. I don't like them floating around. I like them to be within the area that I've done my work. I'm just going to stamp this one in black. And then we'll pop this on a card. We'll just use some glue, not as much this time, hey? Ooh. Yeah, so it has been a lovely hour, hasn't it? I've absolutely enjoyed myself. But we are back tomorrow again at 3 o'clock. Unfortunately, Claire will not be here given the circumstances and public transport and things like that. And she has family members that suffer with chest problems already. So it's unfortunate that she won't be here in studio, but I think she has some plans in the pipeline for you all in her own studio. So watch this space. So I'm the substitute tomorrow. You have me tomorrow at 3 o'clock again. And if there's anything you want me to do, or you've seen a card you really like and you're wanting to know how it was done, please just drop a message under the comments for these cards and I'll see if I can put something together for tomorrow's live studio. Not a complicated one though. Don't ask me to do a mixed media canvas because I can't do that in an hour, and it would take me an hour to think about what I was doing because I'm a bit OCD with all that. But card making and watercolouring and colouring I absolutely love, as you all know. So there we have, let's just get the other one. 2 cards using the stencils. There we go, look how cool they are. Super cool. Absolutely amazing. So I would encourage you to try them at home. I know a lot of you have probably already got them, but if you haven't and you do like them, you know where to go over on our website page and maybe get some of the stencils out from other companies and see if you can create the same technique using those products. It's been lovely to see you all. I hope you've enjoyed the hour. It looks like you've enjoyed the hour and it's taking your mind off what's going on outside. So I'll be back with you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. I have planned a Facebook Live for something we are launching later in the week also. But don't forget Craft Academy. I am so excited about Craft Academy. I know a lot of you are going to be crafting along with me. I'm super excited about it. So whatever you're doing, stay safe, stay cozy, look after your loved ones, and I'll see you all tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Bye.